History of Gorm the Old, the ancient world of Denmark. The world of Scandinavia was very different in the 10th century. It was a time when Christianity was spreading rapidly in Europe, but the northern regions still had ancient Nordic beliefs. The areas of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden were mostly dominated by small tribes and chieftains. Trade, war, and plunder were part of the Viking culture. Thus arose a king who strengthened the foundations of Denmark, and that king was Gurme the Old. Gorm's early life. Gorm was born in the late 9th century. Little is known about his family, but it is believed that he was the son of a powerful chieftain. From an early age he was brave, strong, and fighting. He specialized in both queen hunting and swordsmanship. These were skills that were considered essential for a Viking prince. Viking culture and environment. Power was everything in the Viking world. Chieftains were recognized by their military might and bravery. Gorm grew up in this environment. He had respect for his ancient gods in his heart. He considered Idun to be the god of wisdom and Thor to be the god of power. It was his tradition to sacrifice before every war. In his youth, Gorm undertook several military campaigns. He conquered the local tribes and gathered a strong army around him. His strategy was to defeat the enemy not only by force, but by unity and planning. In time, he became the ruler of most of Denmark. His reputation spread because of both bravery and justice. The capital of Gealing. Gorm made Gealing the center of his government. Gealing was not only geographically convenient, but also easy to control trade and military campaigns from here. Gorm built fortifications in Gealing, built large halls, and made it a royal site, even today. Gealing is known by his name. Religion and beliefs. Gorm were strict followers of the old Nordic religion. They viewed Christianity with suspicion. They believed that if Denmark abandoned its gods, it would lose its power. So they did not allow Christianity to gain a foothold in their time. But also the fact that their son, Harald, later took the same path that Gorm always avoided. Queen Thirodnabud. Gorm's wife Thirodnabud was an extraordinary woman. She was called the mother of Denmark by Rhea. She was an intelligent, influential, and wise queen. It is said that Thera advised Gorm on many political decisions. Her loyalty and friendship made her immortal in history. After the death of Gealing's runestone's Thera, Gorm erected a memorial stone in her memory. The stone reads, King Gorm erected this stone in memory of his wife Thera. This stone still exists today and is considered the most valuable heritage in Danish history. It's called the birth certificate of Denmark. Harald Bluetooth later erected a second stone that mentioned both his father and mother. Yes, Queen Thirodnabud. Gorm's wife Thirodnabud was an extraordinary woman. She was called the mother of Denmark by Rhea. She was an intelligent, influential, and wise queen. It is said that Thera advised Gorm on many political decisions. Her loyalty and friendship made her immortal in history. After the death of Gealing's runestone's Thera, Gorm erected a memorial stone in her memory. The stone reads, King Gorm erected this stone in memory of his wife Thera. This stone still exists today and is considered the most valuable heritage in Danish history. It's called the birth certificate of Denmark. Harald Bluetooth later erected a second stone that mentioned both his father and mother. Gorm's old man. Gorm was a powerful king even in his old age, but his health weakened over time. He was satisfied to see his son Harald that the empire would remain in strong hands after him. In his old age, he lived mostly in Gealing and listened to the problems of Rhea. Gorm's death and burial. Gorm died in about 958. He was buried in Gealing later. His son Harald erected a second Gealing stone in his memory. This stone is still a symbol of his family's love and greatness. Harald Bluetooth and the New Way. Harald Bluetooth took the throne after his father's reign. He was a visionary king. He converted Denmark to Christianity and connected the country with the rest of Europe. His step is a revolution in the history of Denmark. Gorm's legacy. Gorm the Old is still considered the first historical king of Denmark. His wisdom, Heroism and love for his land immortalize him forever. His family not only united Denmark, but introduced it as one of the most powerful nations in the world. The story of Gorm the Old teaches us how one man's leadership can lay the foundations of a nation. His name still lives on in Danish schools, books, and monuments. The king who recognized Denmark will live on in history forever. The story of Gorm the Old. In ancient times, at the beginning of the 10th century, a king emerged on the territory of Denmark, whom history remembers as Gorm the Old. He is considered to be the first historical king of Denmark. Much information about the kings before them can be found in the form of anecdotes, but Gorm was a figure whose existence and rule are still before us today with written and archaeological evidence. His personality is a milestone in the history, not only of Denmark, but of the whole of Scandinavia. Born and early life of Gorm. Gorm was born around the late 9th century. His father's name is said to be Simeon or a local chieftain, but there is no clear historical evidence. From childhood, Gorm was a brave and warrior. He was a believer in the ancient, traditional gods and beliefs of his people and considered the defense of his land to be the greatest duty. From his childhood, he learned to drive swords, sail boats, and hunt. At the beginning of the 10th century, the territory of Denmark was divided into several small states and tribes. Each tribe was under the control of its chief. Under such circumstances, the Gorm gained power through his military skills and intelligence. Gradually, he began to overcome other tribes, and their power grew to such an extent that he was recognized as the first king of Denmark. His foundation formed the throne Gelling, which is still known by his name today. The government of Gelling and Gorm was a central location in Gelling, Denmark. Gorm made it the capital of his empire. It was not only militarily strong, but also surrounded by fertile lands. From here, Gorm organized his empire and increased his power. He was a hardline but just ruler. He was tough on the enemy but soft-hearted and loving for his opinion. Gorm and his religion. Gorm were followers of the old Nordic religion. They worshipped the gods Idun, Thor, and Freya. They refused to accept Christianity. Although Christianity was spreading rapidly in Europe at the time, they believed that the old gods were the true protector of their people. Therefore, they are sometimes called Gorm the Heathen. Thirodnabud. Gorm's wife was named Thirodnabud. She was a very wise, kind, and sensible woman. She is remembered as a great queen in the history of Denmark. Thera gave Gorm advice in making many important decisions. She was like a mother for opinions and was highly respected by the people. After the death of the Gelling stone Tyra, Gorm erected a great stone in her memory called the Gelling Runestone. On this stone is written in the old language that the Gorm king made this stone in memory of his wife Tyra. This stone still exists in Denmark today and is called the Danish birth certificate. Harald Bluetooth, the son of Gorm and Tyra, was named Harald Bluetooth. He was a brave and intelligent prince. After Gorm, he became king and converted Denmark to Christianity. He made a second Gelling Runestone in memory of both his father and mother, on which it is written that Harald made this monument in memory of his father Gorm and mother Tyra. Gorm died around 950 AD. It is said that he was buried in Gelling. After his death, his son Harald ascended the throne. Gorm was the personification of a king who united his people and founded Denmark. Gorm's legacy. Gorm the Old is still remembered today as the first king of Denmark. His reign was the earliest but golden age of Danish history. He is always mentioned along with his wife, Tyra, and son, Harald. The Gelling Stones, which are today a UNESCO World Heritage Site, testify to Gorm's greatness and love. The story of Gorm the Old is not just the story of a king, but the beginning of a nation. He made sacrifices for his family, his kingdom, and his land. His memory lives on today, thousands of years later, and his memories tell us how history keeps generations alive.